Yes. So it's usually, yeah, they do that sometimes, but yeah, actually the initial stage, this animatic is supposed to be created for the entire film, pretty much. Well, creating this type of animatic is usually handled by the animatic artist who is actually specialized in doing so. So it doesn't really require too many people to actually work on it, pretty much, right? So as with my own experience, usually one or two artists is just handling um, the animated portion of it. But if you're talking about really long format of the movies, right, that will obviously involve more artists to participate in the animatic stage. Okay. So now we are jumping into pre-visualization process. This is an extremely important stage. This is also the part of pre-production, but also can lead to a production stage as well, right? But before I actually go further, I just want to talk about, yeah, let's just talk about previews first, and then after that, then we're gonna talk about layout and production design portion. Also, and then we're gonna talk about R&D as well. Okay, so the privilege is also actually, you guys will be learning more detail about that as another course that will be happening at the second half of this semester. So you guys will have there's actually a course that's, geared to this process, pre-visualization. Okay? So you guys will be get to know about this process more. And as for your question, Debug, the animatic is already created for most of movies, even animated movies, animated films, TV shows, even cinematic for the video game, even the video game itself. This animatic is sometimes created. This is largely for a creating, give the client a better understanding of how the story is going to pan out visually, right? So it's a very important process. So privilege, in a way, is very similar to a animatic. But think of a pre-visualization as the 3D version of your animatic, more developed. So what happened? The 3D artist create this low-quality model and representation of the location where the scenes play out. Um, And then, they work with production team to set up the camera angle and block out the complex scenes or have time. So main thing is just kind of, once again, it's pre-planning stage, right? So this previous stage it's growing more popular, right? And just think about this is more step further or more advanced version of animatic and then your storyboard, right? Um, so usually the 3D artists they create this very simple rough proxy 3D object, right? And they use that as the proxy model when they just putting the shot together really quickly and create this rough animation, right, inside of 3D. And then this the largely they doing this once again is to planning save time and money on set, right? Because they're already planning out, they know what is expected and things like that. Since the artists don't have to worry about matching concept art, but just blocking out shape and composition, this can be done rather quickly with good direction. So let me quickly give you example of a privilege. So why don't I just bring in, just give me a second. Let me just open up, share a different screen. So one of the role, you guys can see this, right? Okay. So this is the it's not the up to date, but it's kind of older version of my reel. Um, while I was working at the studio, which this is one of the things that I actually worked on. I was actually worked as the lead designer and lead previs artist and animator for at the studios. So I figure it's a good idea, good time now to kind of show you a bit of my demo reel and kind of explain to you about what is the previous stage. Okay. So this is what you can do. A lot of them is actually previous stage actually developed into actual full-on animation at a later stage. So this is previous, and then it's converted to a full-on animation, fully rendered. Previous as a grayscale, low poly object, and you will see that it's converted to the full-on animation, fully rendered, fully textured, and fully lit, right? Same thing with this one. Let me just quickly stop that. This is another stage that I was actually doing some quick previews. Actually, also did some design the set. So this is a fully designed set. Once again, very low poly, very low detail. But the main thing is just setting up the proper camera along with the motions, right? And yeah, as you can see, this is more developed than the animatic that you guys saw earlier. And now this is more fully developed now. So let me quickly go back. So as you can see, we see that this is a grayscale image that you see. I just kind of showed there. So this was actually developed as the previous. Later move on to the animation stage to polish up the animation, and then the lighting artists take on it, and they're adding some special effect, liquid effect. This is actually I had to hand animate. I think around the 500 little crazy looking spider robot. I did actually both of them. I was handling both previous and animation. So as you can see, this is like 500 different crazy looking giant spider. I had to animate that. That was a bit of a painful process. um, but the eventually came out. So this is Killjoy season 3. If you guys have a chance, check them out. I think they show that on the Sci-Fi Network. This is the Resident Evil final chapter. I was the lead designer for this UI graphic that you see there. Actually, I designed them up. I'm not gonna say about the movie itself. I know that the movie had a bit of a negative review, but I wasn't that part of the person that who actually doing all the story stuff. I was just more of designing all this UI graphic for this. And this is one of the shots from Resident Evil as well. I was the one who actually set up the camera, and then the CG camera, and set up the animation for the little details, gears. I did a bit of a rigging part there in there as well. This is from the Killjoy, one of the shots. This is another shot sequence. So the ship is actually starting it up fairly early. Yeah. So you can see that a lot of grayscale images started out and then move on to more fully textured and colored, right? So I'm just giving you the process of how that is being developed. Okay. Okay. So all right. You guys can find it. You just type John J.H. Lee VFX Reel, and you guys should be able to find that on Google. shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be hard to find one. Okay. All right. So let me just jump right back into this. Um, so you guys can see the slider again, right? Okay. So I actually create a simple video, kind of quickly demonstrate how the privilege is actually being created by using some proxy model. So this is one of the assets that I actually used very earlier when I was working on the shot for the expense. Um, so so this is a low poly rig, and from here with the asset with a 3D low poly object, this is an example of the storyboard that's being created at that time, just one single shot. Okay, so as you can see, the ship is in the plan one, which is kind of indicating the camera 45 millimeters, looking at Rossi. Rossi is the name of this spaceship. It glides towards the camera, indicating this arrow where that motion is going to be. Okay, and then the ship is getting close to the camera. As that it almost reach getting approaching the camera slightly pans and then follow the motions of the ship, right? Indicating that the camera is also at 45 millimeters setup, more to the left, indicating, and then leading to the panel 4, which is flying away. And as the camera is widened, and then the ship is going further away, it reveals the planet from the left side. Joran, the computer spec is not that important actually, to be honest. This is kind of low poly thing, so it's not really super. Um, you don't need the high-end computer to create a privilege, but eventually you will be if you want to create a full-on render shot. The computer has to be fairly powerful in a way that you can actually do a lot of rendering. Because once you start working on a real asset, real with high details, it's the computer slows down very quickly, right?